We begin with this hearing today here in Washington. Robert Hur, House Judiciary Committee, Democrats, Republicans going at it. Did anyone learn anything today?
Nothing that wasn't already stated.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, we knew Republicans were going to try to go up there, especially after the SO2, and say that President Biden is not all there. He's not mentally capable.
Right.
Try to compare this case to Donald Trump's, which has some very significant differences. And there was nothing there that we didn't hear.
So I didn't hear anybody jumping in and say, "Wow, this was something." I really.
The only thing I would say is that what I thought was smart that some Democrats did was read the exact text of the report, where in the defense of Biden, because I don't think most of us have read the entire report, and that was smart.
Here's the thing. One of these two, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, is going to be the next president of the United States, most likely, right? Democrats are not thrilled with Merrick Garland, by the way, the former nominee for the Supreme Court from President Obama in the Obama-Biden administration. And we know how conservatives, Hogan and Donald Trump, feel about the Department of Justice. So what is the future of the DOJ? We just saw some of it on display here in Washington.
That's a very loaded question because the DOJ is always accused of being political regardless of who's in power at the time by the opposition. That's kind of the way it works. What I did find fascinating about today is that in essence what the report early on said with her is we all saw what Joe Biden and his antics and how he talks and he can't complete sentences. We all see that. But what happens in private? And that report kind of showed us what happens behind the scenes, and it was really damaging. And in essence, he said, look, we can't really prosecute him because he's an old dotard and he is, sympathetic and he's kind of incoherent, all those types of things. What Democrats made a good case of today, not just with the State of the Union reaction, but today was, no, he's great. He's all there. So wonderful. When does the trial start? Because remember, several people have been accused of mishandling these documents. It's Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Mike Pence, and Donald Trump. But only one of them has been attacked by the federal government, and that's
only
Donald
one
Trump.
of them tried to declassify the documents, hit them in Mar-a-Lago, didn't return them when the feds demanded them be returned.
And only one of them was actually president of the United States and had the authority and the ability to have those documents.
Matters. It does. And I think when you look at the hearing today, the Democrats repeated this word exonerated, and you heard her jumping in saying that absolutely does not exist in the report. Those details matter because the Democrats have a history of repeating words over and over again to try to get the American people to think that it's true.
Were you saying the same thing when Donald Trump said that he got exonerated multiple times after the reports came out while he was in office? Because he literally stood out in front of the Justice Department and yelled that he was exonerated.
Yeah, much different case, of course, because
obviously the tactic and the messaging was the exact same.
But the facts are different. And when they came out and said there was no collusion between Russia and Donald Trump, he could say he was exonerated. Here,
legally,
obviously Joe Biden did it. He lied about it. They just said we're not going to prosecute him. That's a big difference.
Go for it, and then I want to ask Mick, and then we're going live to the halls of Congress.
I'll just say real quick, the point of the hearing today was I thought what her really got across well was that this was not about my opinion. This was about my ability to convince a reasonable jury of criminal conduct. And what he determined, based on all the facts and the commentary presented, is that he wouldn't be able to convince a jury of reasonable people of criminal intent.
Mick,
end of story.
Mick, you've been listening to some of this, and we could play the left and the right game, and we're going to hear from members of Congress on both sides. But I'm wondering if Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States, what's the DOJ look like in that form, from your view?
It's going to be rough going forward for both parties. It really is. Keep on. One of the things this is a really good debate. I think it's a fascinating discussion as to whether or not he's mentally capable of forming the specific intent to commit the crime, which apparently the DOJ said they were a little concerned about proving, measured against his performance at the State of the Union. That's a really, really good point. I think what's been missed here, however, is the fact that Merrick Garland saw this, and the White House knew Merrick Garland was, and he still let it come out. So I think that sort of takes a lot of the politics out of his own Democrat-appointed Attorney General.
Well, that's why I ask in a possible second Biden term, right? On the other side, Merrick Garland, the guy who the Democrats wanted to be. Amisha's saying he's gone.
Garland is gone.
Merrick Garland, I'm old enough to remember, Mick, when Democrats wanted to put Merrick Garland on the Supreme Court, and Amisha's sitting here saying, see ya if Biden wins.
Oh, no, he's gone. In a second Biden term, again, I think statistically that's less likely than a Trump term right now, but Merrick Garland's finished.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.